Hello, welcome to day 16 of the 28-day challenge. It's like every day I forget what day it is. Today, so I'm always saying that my mission is to realign the ways that we live, learn, and work with our biophysical needs as humans. And I didn't have this on my original schedule, but the next 3 days are going to be live, learn, and work. And what do I mean? Well, how are we disconnected from the ways that we today live? So human beings, we were designed to live in small, close-knit communities in nature, right? That's how our bodies were designed. To be living in community, to be co-regulating with each other, to be surrounded by the same faces or familiar faces all of the time, to form a group identity. That was all part of how we evolved, what our bodies are designed for. And so we're born into a random family, a random place and time on this planet. And not only are you born into a family, but you're born into a culture. There's the local culture of your immediate family and your school system, or whatever you're exposed to in your childhood. And then there's like the broader community of the country that you live in, or just like the geographical region that you live in. And so inside of the modern world, where we are constantly interacting with screens, where we are spending, I can't speak for everywhere, but in the United States, we're mostly spending our times indoors inside of apartment buildings and houses and schools, or inside of your car, right? We're not really engaging with each other, but our bodies are still like playing that old software of how we evolved. So our bodies still want us to be in nature and still think that we're facing the same threats. Our bodies, not our minds. Our minds know that we're not living in the woods in a small hunter-gatherer nomadic tribe. Our brains know that. We're very smart beings. We know where we are. We know what we're doing. But there's this disconnect, and there are these biophysical mechanisms that aren't really compatible with modern life. I talked about shame before. That shame mechanism was designed to keep us as part of the group, because if you got kicked out of the group, you would be eaten by tigers or exposed to whatever wild elements and animals and creatures that like are dangerous to your physical being. But that shame mechanism can get triggered by a mean comment on social media, or an eye roll from your colleague, or like so many different things can trigger that shame mechanism. And inside of the modern world, if you don't get along with your coworkers or your boss, you can switch jobs, you can move. If somebody doesn't like what you're saying on social media, you can block them, or you can know, oh, it's just one person's opinion, but your body doesn't know that. And if you were shamed a lot as a child, your body sees that as threat. And most of us were shamed. Like, we live in a culture that uses shame to motivate people, because like it's kind of part of how we started, right? But using shame as a motivator isn't useful anymore. And so with how we're living, a lot of us are just like going to work or school for hours and trying to cram all of this knowledge into our brains while we're sitting still and not moving, which our bodies were designed to be constantly moving in order to search for the food or hunt the food that we needed to survive, to find the shelter, right? Our bodies were designed for this constant motion, and we're sitting in chairs that are not like we weren't sitting in chairs when we were hunter and gatherers for 300,000 years for the majority of human history. And phones, social media, and our computers, like those further the disconnect between our brains and our bodies, keeping us stuck, keeping us trapped in these functional fight, flight, fawn, like spaces in our bodies. And so we're functioning enough to survive under capitalism, but we are not thriving, we are not happy, and we're getting a bunch of like cheap happiness through cat videos or drinking or gambling or whatever your vice is, but we're not in alignment. There's too much stimulus coming into our nervous systems. Too much. I've been calling our brains billion-dollar brains, because if you think about all of the money that goes into all of the media that we consume, not just social media, but also our shows, TV shows, movies, we're constantly consuming all of this media and marketing and all of these other things that are designed to hack our nervous system so that we will buy, so that we'll behave in the way that society wants us to behave, which is very robotic, which is very produce. Never enough. You're never enough. I'm never enough. We never have enough. That's the scarcity mindset. It's killing us. So that's what I have to say on our lives. Tomorrow I'll talk about our schools, the ways we learn. And then I'll continue from there. I'm pulling some other things together in the background that I'm really excited about too. So have a good day. I love you. Bye.